Hello everyone and welcome to English 1010 Online. My name is Professor Graham and I like to make these videos throughout the semester explaining the resources and kind of going through everything week by week. I also might provide some additional videos about maybe assignments, major assignments, or certain resources and formatting issues on things like Microsoft Word that you might not be familiar with. This week, you have a discussion post that basically tells you to introduce yourself. This is the definition of what's called narrative writing, and it's a rhetorical mode in which you're writing a story, much like you would a novel or short story, writing about events in a orderly, sort of what's called narrative fashion. So you'll introduce yourself in a few paragraphs and then respond to your classmates by Saturday at 11:59. The format for the course is very similar for the discussion posts, in which on Sunday I'll have the initial discussion posts that you'll have to respond to by Wednesday, and then respond to your classmates by Saturday at 11:59 so that we can start the week again. Most of these discussion posts will be based on either essays from your textbook or stuff that has to do with scaffolding or drafting towards your major assignments. Speaking of the textbook, one of the first things that you want to take a look at is not only the course syllabus in the top left corner of the Blackboard page, but you also want to take note of the textbook. This is what the textbook looks like. They Say, I Say, 6th edition, with readings. Now I have all of the information in the syllabus, and you can get the textbook at the bookstore or online, or rent it wherever you feel comfortable. We'll be using the textbook not only for these essays for discussion boards, but it also provides valuable writing insight for the major writing assignments that you'll do throughout the online semester here. So the first thing that you want to do once you have the textbook is you want to take a look at the first reading. The first reading, if you notice, in week 1 of the Blackboard course, and I'll label everything by week so it's neatly organized. The first thing is you want to read the introduction entering the conversation on pages 1 through 18. So this allows you to start understanding how we are going to not only read but write for the rest of the semester, which is to say that we're entering a conversation. You have to listen or read to get what the previous scholarship or essays or current events are saying before you can respond to it in writing. So this chapter talks specifically about how do you enter the conversation. Of course, if you were to go into a room where a bunch of people are talking, you wouldn't just jump right in and try to guess what they were talking about or posit something new. You'd want to listen for a little bit and then respond based on what you're hearing. And that's essentially what we're doing with writing and reading, especially in the first part of this semester. I've also put an optional reading as the second link there. This is from one of the free textbooks that I have that will jump around to throughout the semester. And that link takes you directly to the section about active reading process. Now, of course, we want to be actively reading, and this chapter helps describe what that means. I'm sure in the past you've been told, you have to take notes or annotate if you are familiar with the annotation process. But what this really tries to remind you is that the active reading process is engaging with the work so that you are trying to retain information and then return to that information so that you can get more and more each time that you read, and so that when you're writing, you can pull specific and contextual information. Now, this process looks different from everybody, and actually throughout the semester, I'll go over some different methods that you can try out as you read so that you can take better notes or have a better essay writing, sort of drafting and outlining process, especially for our final assignment. The third and final thing in week 1 is your discussion board. So take a look at that. Again, introduce yourself, respond to at least 2 of your peers, and the most important thing and final element that's not in this section specifically is to just go over the syllabus and make sure that you reach out if you have any questions. My email is on there. Make sure to use your CT State email because personal emails get flooded out by security, and it is a security issue to be forwarding information to that. So make sure that you're checking and using your CT State email. If you have any questions about how to log on for the first time, contact IT and go to the IT section of the website and reach out to them because they will help you even remotely if you're not on campus. I look forward to hearing from all of you and as you introduce yourself in the discussion board. And again, please reach out with any questions through email, or if you need virtual office hours, reach out through email with your availability. That way we can see what times overlap. Again, I look forward to hearing from all of you, and I hope this is the start of a great semester.